We welcome you in to a Wednesday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. It was not a senior moment. It was not the product of a childhood stutter. What Joe Biden said last night about Trump supporters was not even him saying the quiet part out loud. It was him saying, once again, the loud part out loud when he called Trump supporters garbage. It is trying to be excused by a Joe Biden tweet. By commentators on the left, by Kamala Harris and others, but it is an absolute, indisputable demonstration of what Democrats think of you and have thought of you and me for a very long time. This predates Donald Trump's arrival on the political scene. A lot of times you will hear, oh, that moment Trump came down the golden escalator at Trump Tower, that just changed American politics forever, and that's when the hatred. No. Barack Obama called you bitter clingers before Donald Trump entered any political race. They have a disdain for people of faith. They have an utter disdain and contempt for people who disagree with them. They do not want to engage in civil political discourse about policies. They began under Obama to dismiss your disagreement as racism, and their criticism of you on a political and, more importantly, personal level has only become more ardent and more hateful ever since. Joe Biden is, of course, senile, and yet you do not get any forgiveness from us for the fact that he is old and addled. You cannot leave someone in place in the most important position in the world, Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America. And then when he says something or does something stupid, say, well, give him a break, he's old. He shouldn't be in the Oval Office, and he is in the Oval Office because the person running to succeed him in the Oval Office on the Democratic side of the aisle, Kamala Harris, refuses to do her duty and 25th Amendment him out of office, which is her role as the Vice President of the United States. What Joe Biden said last night, and if you didn't hear it by now, let me play it for you. He is talking about the stupid an inexcusable joke made by a comedian opening for Trump at Madison Square Garden on Sunday, where that comedian referred to Puerto Rico, the island, or at least, whatever, as a floating island of garbage in the Atlantic. A comedian, an opening act, a guy Trump has never met and didn't know, and Trump has since disavowed. But Joe Biden is referring to that when he calls you, me, and anyone else who holds the founding in high esteem, who holds our faith in high esteem. Joe Biden saying what he has said before, only just now saying it in a different way.
They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
So he's talking about Puerto Ricans. They're good, decent, honest people. The only garbage I see out there are his, meaning Trump's supporters. One more time.
They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
So you're garbage. Now, Biden said late last night, earlier today, this is a social media post, earlier today I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump's supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, which is the only word I can think of to describe it. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. His demonization? You made a big leap there, Joe. You're talking about the comedian who said it, and then all of a sudden, the implication is you're talking about Trump. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say. The comments at that rally don't reflect who we are as a nation. Well, gee, that's sort of funny because I remember you, Joe Biden, at Independence Hall, September the 1st, 2022, where you had Nazi-esque lighting behind you and two imposing U.S. Marines standing there with their weapons. and you, double fists clenched, screaming, ranting, raving, and saying this. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. They are determined to take this country backward. They promote authoritarian leaders, and they fan the flames of political violence. And then I remember very well your speech to the graduates at Morehouse College in May of this year, May 19th to be exact, where you insinuated that all Republicans are racists. When you said to Morehouse graduates, a historically black college, they, meaning Republicans, don't see you in the future of America. We don't? That'll come as news to Ben Carson and Winsome Sears and Byron Donalds, who are, of course, African-American legislators who just don't happen to share the if you are black, you must vote Democrat view of life, the prism through which Joe Biden and Kamala Harris see everything. Now, speaking of Kamala Harris, which I wish I didn't have to do, she was on the tarmac today at Andrews Air Force Base, heading out for campaign appearances, and she was asked about her reaction to Joe Biden's comment last night labeling all Trump supporters, and we're 50-50 in the polls, she was asked about Biden's comment labeling Trump supporters as garbage.
Listen, I think that, first of all, he clarified his comments, but let me be clear, I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for. You heard my speech last night and continuously throughout my career. I believe that the work that I do is about representing all the people, whether they support me or not. And as President of the United States, I will be a president for all Americans, whether you vote for me or not.
Well, that's a relief. She'll be a president for all Americans. You know who'll be really, really relieved about that? The women who've been imprisoned for praying outside an abortion clinic, including that black mom that I told you about like a week ago. She'll be really happy to know that once Joe Biden's out and Kamala Harris is in, because, you know, of course, if there's one thing that has typified the Biden administration, it is the constant infighting between Kamala Harris and Joe Biden when they go after political opponents. Like, I'm sure, you know, Michael Flynn and Paul Manafort and Roger Stone and Steve Bannon and others are thrilled to know that Kamala Harris will be a president for all Americans. Sure, she will. Sure, she will. Now, then she was asked on the tarmac if she had spoken to Joe Biden about his comments last night that all Trump supporters are garbage. This is a very telling comment because, you know, late last night, the Democrats are in damage control. They got Politico misquoting Joe Biden, saying he didn't say what we clearly heard him say and watched him say on video. They got CNN people apologizing and blaming it on the fact that, he had a childhood stutter and this is what I heard. But, you know, did Joe Biden call Kamala last night and say, first, I want to apologize for stealing all the headlines from your big closing argument speech on the ellipse outside the White House, right in my own backyard. Sorry about that. And did she mention, because you know she'd heard about it by then, the fact that he called Trump supporters garbage? Did it come up in their conversation?
He did call me last night, but this didn't come up.
He did call me last night, but that didn't come up. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? It tells you that it was not a big deal to them until it was a big deal to you, until they weighed the political consequences of it. James Freeman, Wall Street Journal. Absolutely right.
I think it's a little strange that Joe Biden apologized. This seems kind of consistent with the message here. I understand the vice president talked about unity Tuesday, but she also called Trump a petty tyrant, a threat to the country. She attacked the Supreme Court. This has been a nasty, divisive message. And with President Biden, this is kind of consistent. We recall him going after states that required voter ID as Jim Crow 2.0. You look at his divisive speech at Morehouse College in the spring. He sees America as structurally racist. This is really not new for him, and it's not that different from the rhetoric she's offering. Obviously, for tactical reasons, they thought he had gone too far and felt the need to apologize. But sadly, I don't think it's that out of character for him or that far off from what she's saying.
In clouds, a warm afternoon. It'll be breezy. The gusty winds and dry weather leading to an elevated risk of wildfires. High today, 78. Partly cloudy, warm tonight, low 62. Cloudy, windy, remaining warm. Shower and thunderstorm for tomorrow in the late afternoon. High tomorrow at 76. Sunshine, a little bit cooler on Friday, the high at 60. And then partly sunny for the day on Saturday, high at 62. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 The Answer.
You understand the impact this election may have on their retirement savings. In less than 30 days, our entire economy could face a monumental shift that could destroy a huge amount of value many Americans have stored in their 401ks or IRAs. In times like these, the most trusted store of wealth in human history stands out: physical gold and silver. Many Americans have looked to True Gold Republic for help. They specialize in helping those with a 401k, IRA, or other retirement accounts convert their stocks and bonds into physical gold and silver to protect their hard-earned savings. True Gold is offering listeners a free copy of their Election Gold Protection Kit today. To claim yours, call 800-300-GOLD. This information is free and might very well save your comfortable retirement. By acting before the election, you can still make a tax and penalty-free conversion with the help of True Gold's award-winning team. Call 800-300-GOLD. That's 800-300-GOLD. True Gold Republic is not a financial advisor. Consult with your tax advisor before investing. Call 800-300-GOLD.
A vote for Sherrod Brown is a vote against Donald Trump. Sherrod Brown has spent 31 years in Washington, D.C. backing radical liberal policies.
Late-term social abortion was a baby occasionally gave it alive. Trans biological men in girls' pants and bathrooms. Puberty blockers and even sex-change surgery for children. Amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants.
Brown's liberal policies are the opposite of the Trump agenda, and Brown would oppose Trump at every turn. To undo the damage of the last 4 years, President Trump and Ohio need Republican Bernie Moreno in the Senate. For 6 more years of Sherrod Brown, he's for they, them, not you. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund, paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
My debt problem started probably about 2016. I needed my life to change financially. I called Trinity and I ended up joining based on high credit card bills and high interest rate. And my counselor at Trinity has been great, and Trinity has been helping me to get on the right path of paying off these credit card bills, bringing down the interest rate. They have consolidated my bills into one low monthly payment. And now I am finally getting out of credit card debt. So I just want to say thank you, Trinity, for showing me a better and greater path.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Sharon, and soon I will be debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
Are you buying water at big box stores? Why go through the hassle of driving to the store, lugging your bottles in and out, then stand in line to pay? Let Magnetic Springs Bottled Water Company deliver your water to your home or office for less. Let us take the hassle out of bottled water.
So we're in commercial. We'll be right back.
Bottled Water Company today. 800-572-2990. Or go online to magneticsprings.com, place your order, and receive 2 free cases of 16-ounce sports bottles.
Magnetic Springs is a member of the iTex trading community. Your iTex dollars are welcome.
Looking forward to helping more of you who would like to redo your flooring in advance of the holidays. There's a rush in the flooring business before the holidays. You got people coming in, I get it, but now is the time to go to brucehooley.com and click on flooring. I met with a lovely couple in rural Delaware the other day. I have another couple in Delaware, one in Blacklick today that I'll make contact with. And so really appreciate the fact that you guys are hearing the message and reaching out and giving me the opportunity to help you, whether it's new carpet, whether it is luxury vinyl plank, which looks like wood, performs better, won't scratch when you slide a chair over it. We can take care of you, and our installers are fantastic. So yes, we have all the same name brands that you might find at other stores, and we can explain the entire process to you, save you money, and get your product installed faster. So go to brucehooley.com and click flooring. For those of you who have done so, it's a great pleasure meeting you, and I appreciate it very much. brucehooley.com, flooring in the upper right-hand corner of the webpage. So there are at least 3 levels to the impact of Joe Biden last night, just basically saying in a different way what he's already said before. We know he has nothing but utter disdain and contempt for Donald Trump and everyone who supports Donald Trump. Democrats don't understand how Donald Trump can persevere. They've tried everything. They've tried lawfare. They've tried lying about him. They've tried anonymous sources. They've tried you name it. Now, I don't think they're done trying. If you saw the videos yesterday from Pennsylvania, you know that they're certainly not above strange goings on around early voting. We'll say it that way. We'll have more on that. By the way, this morning, the Supreme Court, the actual Supreme Court, the one that Biden and Harris would like to pack to neuter its impact on matters of law in this country. The Supreme Court today said that the state of Virginia, oh, shocker, can keep non-citizens, people who admit they are non-citizens, that the state of Virginia can keep them from voting. How about that? Who's fighting that? Oh, that's right. It's Biden's Justice Department. That's who was fighting it. By the way, Secretary of State Frank LaRose, Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose, suing the federal government for not giving him access to data. We'll have more on that as the show progresses today. But as I said, there are like at least 3 levels to this Biden comment. I'm going to play it again. He starts by talking about Puerto Ricans, but then he tells you pretty much exactly what he said many times before about how he feels about you as a Trump supporter.
They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is just supporters.
All right, so the comedian opening for Trump at Madison Square Garden on Sunday made a joke, a bad joke, an inappropriate joke, a stupid joke, an unfunny joke about Puerto Rico, the island, being, laden with garbage and floating in the Atlantic. And so Biden is on a call trying to induce Hispanics to vote for Kamala Harris. So the level 1 is the damage that does, because, I really don't know why it strikes people as newsworthy that Joe Biden has contempt for Trump supporters. As I referred to in the open, he's made that very, very clear many times before at Morehouse College, at Independence Hall, on and on and on and on. The second level of this, of impact, is that this is yet another instance where Kamala Harris has a major event. This is her closing argument last night, right? And they bust in a bunch of people or flew them in from California. The GPS hits on the phones show that there were like thousands of people who were at this rally last night who came from California because they were pinged, their phones were pinged at previous Kamala Harris rallies around the country. So they're flying these people around the country. She's got $1 billion in her campaign coffers. Who knows? Maybe she's using your tax dollars. I don't know. They wasted enough of it during COVID. Wouldn't put it past them to finagle it to assist her in winning the presidency. But she's going to make her closing argument in the same place Trump addressed his supporters on January 6th. Oh, the parallels. Gee, I don't know. What kind of a point is Kamala Harris trying to make? Speaking about unity, and I'm going to be everybody's president, and this, that, and the other, in the exact same place where Trump spoke on January 6th, where he, of course, said peacefully and patriotically protest. But no, instead, he fomented an insurrection, if you listen to Kamala Harris. So this is her closing argument. And there's the geezer literally hundreds of yards away in the White House somewhere, talking to Latinos on a Zoom call, calling Trump supporters garbage. So the impact, number one, of him saying you're garbage, but the impact, number two, of him upstaging her again. Remember when he went into the White House briefing room at the exact time networks were getting ready to take a campaign speech from her live from Flint, Michigan? Joe Biden is, it appears, going out of his way to harm Kamala Harris and steal her thunder, because since she won't 25th Amendment him and get him out of the White House, he still pulls rank in terms of newsworthiness because we never hear from him. So when he's going to speak, and also because whenever he speaks, he says something stupid and inserts his foot in his mouth, this stole her thunder. This stole her thunder. Now, the third level of this is the equivocation on the left, the excuse making on the left. Politico, Jonathan Lemire wrote this, supposed to be a direct quote from Joe Biden. And you heard the direct quote from Joe Biden. The only garbage I see are his supporters. How did Jonathan Lemire of Politico write it? The only garbage, partial quote, was the, quote, hatred of Trump supporters who said such things about America. No, that's not what he said, Jonathan Lemire. And you darn well know it's not what he said. Didn't end there. Here's a dude named Franklin Leonard, who is head of a movie-making operation called The Blacklist. Okay, so he's a racist because he only wants to listen to things about black movies. Here's Franklin Leonard explaining what happened when Joe Biden said Trump supporters are garbage.
There are places that he could be useful, but he's not everywhere like you might expect a sitting president to be for his vice president.
I don't know that I would expect this president to be everywhere in this moment. I mean, look, a critical element, any coach will tell you, any CEO will tell you, a critical element of running a team and winning is assessing the strengths and weaknesses of your team members and making sure you allocate them in the right way. Joe Biden has never been a big arena speaker. He's never been the most fluid speaker. And by the way, as someone who had a stutter growing up, it's very obvious to me that there's an apostrophe at the end of supporters.
Oh,
he was
come
referring
on.
to the garbage spewed by supporters, not simply the supporters themselves. But Joe Biden has been on the campaign trail. He's best getting ice cream in Maryland like he was today. He's best showing moments of empathy in Arizona like he was last week. He's best with union folks as he was in Pittsburgh last week as well. You use people where they are best. You put Obama in a big arena, you put Michelle in a big arena, and you put Joe Biden in front of a bunch of union people doing retail politics.
You couldn't see it because you didn't see the video of this comment, but when Franklin Leonard said he's best eating ice cream in Maryland, even Biden Bootlick, what's her name, who hosts that show? I don't even know. This woman, Ashley something. She rolled her eyes and laughed. She's on Team Biden. Oh, I think Joe Biden is best eating ice cream in Maryland. Abby Phillips, that's her name, Abby Phillips. She rolled her eyes and laughed. Also, aren't we all impressed by the big brain on Franklin Leonard that he can hear an apostrophe in Joe Biden's speech? Really? Really, Franklin? You can hear the apostrophe. Ooh, impressive intellect.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. A major win for election integrity in Virginia. The Supreme Court says Virginia can enforce state law by removing non-citizens from the voter rolls. For Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, it's a busy day on the campaign trail, with particular attention being paid to the key battleground states, the election now less than a week away. The government reports the economy grew at a 2.8% annual rate July through September. Later in the week, we'll get the lowdown on the job market. The Labor Department.
I think what some voters are struggling with, and we've heard this across the state, is when you discuss your plans, they come back and ask, well, why haven't you done it already?
Well, I'm not president.
You're vice president.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm going to tell you what I'm doing as president when I have the ability then to do what I know based on my experience is a new approach that is about building on the good work that has happened, But there's more to do. There's more to do.
I think what some
The official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back. But what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at the Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PREPARE to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantage status. So text PREPARE to 989898. That's PREPARE to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRA.
Even before your alarm clock goes off, he's already hit the ground, running, ready to tell you what's going on in the world you're waking up to. Hugh Hewitt, weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on your station for news, opinion, and passion. 98.9 FM, The Answer.
If your home's heating and air conditioning system is on its last leg, don't wait for cold weather to catch you off guard. Get a complete home furnace and air conditioner from Temperature Pro for just $39.99 through the Discount Shopping Club. The regular price is almost $8,000. Temperature Pro is a leader in both commercial and residential HVAC services. And now you can own one for half price. Find this great deal today in the Discount Shopping Club at 989theanswer.com.
Dennis Prager here. Join me on an unforgettable cruise to the Caribbean this November. Imagine 9 days basking in the sun, surrounded by the stunning beauty of a tropical paradise. We'll cruise to the vibrant islands of Half Moon Cay, Curacao, Bonaire, Aruba, and more. We'll be joined by special guest Sean McDowell, and we'll both be sharing insights into current events in a way I hope energizes and challenges you. Secure your spot before spaces run out by calling 855-565-5519 or online at PragerCruise.com.
Prairie Remodeling, Ohio's #1 choice in sunroofs, windows, doors, decks, sidings, patios, porches, basements, and bathroom remodels. Call ProView Remodeling today and get 25% off or 60 months, 0 interest. That's right, 60 months, 0 interest. Call or text 7 days a week, 614-756-3140. You win with ProView Remodeling, 614-756-3140. Check us out at ProViewRemodeling.com.
Dennis Prager here, inviting you to join me on a cruise to the Caribbean this November. I'll share fresh insights about our world today, all while soaking up a tropical Caribbean paradise with you. Call 855-565-5519 or at PragerCruise.com.
Well, I hope nothing bad has happened to you, like, say, I don't know, your furnace going out. But if it did, you do not need to despair, because if you own a home that is between 2,200 and 2,600 square feet, the good news is that through the Discount Shopping Club at 989theanswer.com, you can get a Goodman 3-ton air conditioner and furnace half off. That's right. Don't stress about paying $8,000 for it, when with a simple click to 989theanswer.com and a click on more and a click on shopping, you will find your way to the Discount Shopping Club, where that exact furnace from Temperature Pro Columbus is just $3,999. Now, the Goodman brand is one of the best out there, and it will keep your home nice and toasty in the wintertime and nice and cool in the summertime. So avail yourself of the Discount Shopping Club at 989theanswer.com. And there are more deals you won't know until you visit the Discount Shopping Club at 989theanswer.com. Early voting in Georgia is breaking records. Early voting in Ohio underway. I'm going to vote tonight. Early voting in Pennsylvania, lots of strange videos out there about it. And here in Ohio, Secretary of State Frank LaRose has filed a lawsuit against the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Why is that? Because they are limiting Secretary LaRose's access to databases, and they have been doing so for months. He says he needs to access these databases to check citizenship record of Ohio voters. Here's a quote from Frank LaRose. "We will need this data after the election to see if anybody did in fact violate the law, so that we can build a case and turn that over to county prosecutors or to the Ohio Attorney General for prosecution. But this data resulting in removing non-citizens before the 2024 election is, of course, unlikely or impractical at this point, meaning that they have stalled some more to keep Frank LaRose from accessing this data. Why are they doing that? Why is the federal government interested in either standing in the way of secretaries of state verifying citizens only to vote? This morning, the Supreme Court of the United States of America took up an emergency challenge from Virginia and halted a federal judge's decision that ordered Virginia to put 1,600 voters back on the voter rolls. These are people in the state of Virginia who have admitted that they are not citizens. They have admitted it. So there's no they don't need to go and get access to the databases that Frank LaRose is trying to get access to. Now, as for the oft-stated complaint of Democrats that, it's such a small number. Why do you care about such a small number? Here's Frank LaRose, Secretary of State, State of Ohio, addressing that vapid complaint last night on 10 TV.
600 is a small number, but every year we have elections that come down to a single vote. And so it's our duty to make sure that we don't allow people that are not eligible to vote. That's not something I'm going to apologize for. It's our responsibility.
Nor should you apologize for it, Frank. Don't apologize for it. It's called doing your job. And I know this is a foreign concept to Democrats because, of course, your nominee has never really been able to do her job. She's trumpeted, I prosecuted 100 cases. And we've looked into that. Other people have. I haven't. But they've looked into it and they found that Kamala Harris prosecuted, 5 cases in all her. I'm the only person who's ever prosecuted transnational gangs. Garbage. Utter garbage. Now, Andy McCarthy, Fox News, not surprised by the decision by the U.S. Supreme Court to remove 1,600 voters from the rolls of eligible voters in the state of Virginia.
I think it's the only result that really makes sense. What Virginia was trying to do was take people off the ballot who are not voters because they're not Americans, and that's by their own admission. And this idea that this could prevent or mistakenly result in American citizens from Virginia not being able to vote is bogus, because under Virginia law, let's say they've taken you off the ballot mistakenly. Under Virginia law, if you show up to vote on election day and you attest that you are an American citizen, they have to let you vote. So there wasn't a chance that an actual American citizen was going to be prevented from voting here. On the other hand, it is a federal crime for aliens both to represent themselves as American citizens in order to register to vote, and it's a federal crime for them to cast votes. So Virginia's law promotes election integrity in Virginia. It supports federal law, and it doesn't result in Americans being proscribed from voting.
Following the law. Kamala Harris always says, what are you going to do on the transgender issue, Kamala? I'm going to follow the law. I'm going to follow the law. Why are they not following the law on voter registration? Why are they not following the law on enforcing our southern border? They've sued the state of Texas to not be able to preclude illegals from coming across the Texas border. The federal government has sued a state in the United States of America for attempting to police its own border. I'm going to follow the law. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you've given us ample reason to doubt that you will follow the law. You'll follow it selectively. You use it against your political enemies. I have no doubt about that. And we all know that Pennsylvania is a must-have state for Kamala Harris. If Donald Trump gets it, essentially he's going to win the election, unless he loses a bunch of other states that are tight. But I've told you before, my issue with this election is they've already shown you who they are with their counting ballots after the final postmark date in Pennsylvania the last time, with the ruling just overturned. But you know the intent, right? Let's keep the ineligible voters on the rolls as long as we can until SCOTUS intervenes this morning. in Nevada yesterday. What I tell you, they're going to count non-postmarked ballots that come into the Board of Elections up to 5 days after the election. Oh, look at this. Donald Trump won by 10,000. Wait, there's a car outside that has a bunch of unmarked, unpostmarked ballots. Oh, it's November the 9th. Sorry, that's within the 5-day window. You got to count them. And what do you know? They're all for Kamala Harris. Yesterday in Pennsylvania, I'm browsing the internet yesterday afternoon, and I start to see videos, plural, video after video after video. Here's one of them. Outside, early voting in Pennsylvania, supposed to go till 4:30. It's not 4:30 yet. Woman's in line trying to vote. What happens? Now, I'm going to stop it right there because the lady who says, I'm going to ask you to talk to this gentleman, and this gentleman is a police officer, she's wearing a lanyard that says voter protection or something like that, or voter demonstration or something like that. In little tiny print at the top, it says Dem. This lanyard, this thing she's wearing around her neck, she's credentialed. She has authority. It's made up. It's a made up lanyard. They made it up so that you'll do what they tell you to do, so that you won't say, oh, sorry, they closed the voter line. Got to get out of here. Continuing the video.
Because the voting is closed right now.
It's closed.
I just want you to talk to this gentleman.
We have the right to vote until 4:30.
I get you. Here's
Why
what
is it
happened.
closed?
Let me explain to you.
Please.
Okay. This process is very slow and grueling.
That doesn't matter if we're online.
Very slow and grueling.
Doesn't matter if we're online by 4:30. We have the
The
right
reason
to
why it
vote.
had to close was because a high volume of people wanted to do this. It's slow and grueling.
Well, then they
So
have to
had
wait till everyone's.
They had to cut the line at 1:45.
They cut the line at 1:45.
1:45.
You hear that, everyone? They cut the line at 1:45.
Here's your.
This is voter fraud, by the way. Who are you? Yes, it is. Oh, voter protection. I heard about that on X. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Contact
Voter protection. Let's see what that's
Contact
from.
the county commissioners to complain.
Now, the woman who steps forward and says, contact the county commissioners to explain, is wearing the Dem voter protection lanyard. And guess what? She's a Democratic employee of the Board of Elections. She's out there telling people to go away when she's supposed to be conducting early voting at this location in Pennsylvania. More of this nonsense.
This is, and so you don't think this is voter fraud? This is voter fraud.
Woman walks away.
See that, everyone? They cut the line, even though we have till 4:30. Election fraud here in Bucks County.
Not a surprise to me. Josh Shapiro, Democratic governor, Pennsylvania. Katie Hobbs, Democratic governor, Arizona. Democratic governor Gretchen Whitmer, Michigan. Democratic governor Tony Evers, Wisconsin. Democratic governor in Nevada. 5 of the 7 swing states.
Afternoon, it'll be breezy. The gusty winds and dry weather leading to an elevated risk of wildfires. High today 78. Partly cloudy, warm tonight, low 62. Cloudy, windy, remaining warm. Shower and thunderstorm for tomorrow in the late
That's wrong,
afternoon.
Bruce.
High tomorrow
That's
at
wrong.
76.
The Democratic governor is in North Carolina, Roy Cooper, not in Nevada. I got to correct that when I come back.
For the day on Saturday, high at 62. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Owning a home is a dream come true, but keeping it comfortable? Temperature Pro understands that your HVAC system is the heart of your home's comfort. When it needs attention, you deserve service that's fast, transparent, and reliable. More than just a repair company, they're your home's partner, offering professional service that respects your space and your family. For routine maintenance or an unexpected breakdown, trust Temperature Pro to keep your home running smoothly with no surprises on pricing.
of what they saw.
What about you, though?
So
you said over the weekend, referring to it, there's a direct parallel to a big rally that happened in the mid-1930s at Madison Square Garden.
Well,
you were comparing that rally to a Nazi rally?
Look, I'm comparing it to the hate that came out of this, and I think they confirmed that.
You stand by that comparison, though, to a Nazi rally?
Look, the rally, you saw it for yourself. I'll let the American public make the decision of what they saw.
What about you, though?
So I know what I saw, and I'll just leave it at that.
You said
your retirement funds. The transfer process is seamless, and Premier Gold makes investing easy. Right now, they're sending listeners a free gold investment kit to help you decide if this move is in your best interest. Call 606-800-8000. Discover how you could start building wealth that stands the test of time. Call 606-800-8000. Premier Gold is not a financial advisor. Please consult with your advisor before investing. Call 606-800-8000.
If you're a business owner and a listener to this station, you might not realize that the conservative news and talk content that you enjoy is advertiser supported. Our loyal audience loves to do business with advertisers who make our programming possible. Now, it probably won't surprise you that there are some advertisers who avoid us because they don't like what we do here. And that's okay, because our listeners are eager to support advertisers who support our conservative programming. Join the successful companies who reach customers who care about this programming. Become a part of making a difference in the lives of people who listen and who are passionate about supporting the great family of advertisers who are part of this station. It's truly a perfect match for you and for them.
To learn how to reach our audience with your business's message and support this station, contact Carolyn Cassidy at 614-318-0401 or click on the Advertise With Us banner at 989theanswer.com. That's 989theanswer.com. Pain is no fun. It's also needless, or it could be. You won't know until you take advantage of the free consultation at QC Kinetics. Their clinics in Dublin and Gahanna, convenient no matter where you live in Central Ohio, offer you a free, no obligation consultation so you can find out more about advanced regenerative therapy. Well, that sounds fancy, Bruce. Can you explain it? Yeah, I can. It's non-surgical, first of all. That's good. Second of all, it takes advantage of your body's natural healing agents. Your blood has something in it called platelets. That's what causes your finger to heal when you cut it, or your ankle to heal when you sprain it. You don't always need surgery. You just need more platelets in the affected area. If you've been told you're bone on bone and the arthritis pain can't go away unless you take medicine or have surgery, you might not actually be in that situation. You won't know. So you consult with QC Kinetics. Free consultation, 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
Holidays creeping up on you. They will be here before you know it. We'll be in November before you know it. And then, well, Thanksgiving's just a few weeks away. And Christmas comes rapidly after that. So I'd go to 989theanswer.com if I were you, and I'd register to win one of the 10 pairs of tickets that we have to give away to Trans-Siberian Orchestra's Day After Christmas concert at Nationwide Arena. The Lost Christmas Eve Tour coming to Nationwide. I think this is an annual thing, not the Lost Christmas Eve Tour. That's new. This story of loss and redemption takes place in a rundown hotel, an old toy store, a blues bar, a Gothic cathedral, and all the inhabitants intertwine on a single Christmas Eve in New York City. You know, with TSO, you're going to get the spectacular light show and the great music. And while you may be willing to pay to go, why would you when you can win free tickets? Go to 989theanswer.com and register to win today. I was in touch last night with a Republican strategist who I respect, and asked him about Bernie Moreno's chances in the Senate. He said they look good. It's going to depend on turnout, so get out and vote. Don't take it for granted. Trump up 6. I don't have to go. No, we need Trump to win Ohio by 8 or more to pull Bernie across the finish line, because when you drive around Central Ohio, what do you see? You see a lot of stinky Sherrod Brown signs, right? Apparently people want to give Sherrod Brown a 4th term in the Senate so he can continue to lie to you about how he's for the everyman. Meanwhile, he's voting to allow boys to play girls' sports, voting to open the border, voting to spend on scams like the Green New Deal and the Inflation Reduction Act. and the Build Back Better program that never seems to make its way to Ohio and manifest itself in any new manufacturing jobs. When Sherrod Brown first went to the U.S. Senate, Ohio manufacturing was rolling. Now, not so much. But gee, thanks, Sherrod, for being a person who's fighting for the working man. I also asked this strategist about the Ohio Supreme Court races. Do you realize, ladies and gentlemen, that if you vote a straight Republican ticket on the Supreme Court ballot, that we will come out of this election with 6 of our 7 justices on the Ohio Supreme Court who are Republicans? I'm sure there'll be a ballot initiative funded by foreign interests to take care of that, if that indeed happens. So vote straight Republican when it comes to judges. Thankfully, they now put the political affiliation with the judges, so it makes it easy for you. Just ended a segment where I was telling you about the funny business in Pennsylvania and early voting. They're going to steal. They're going to. Do I want to get banned by YouTube? Democrats are going to win Pennsylvania. They just are. They're just already, you see it a week out. The effort of stopping voting. Oh, sorry. I was supposed to be able to vote till 4:30. I'm sorry, we closed at 1:30. Lancaster County. They have 2,500 ballots that came in, and they're questionable, and they're investigating that. You heard about Bucks County, the video I played for you. Bomb threat at the Republican Committee headquarters in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Besides Bucks County, there was another county in Pennsylvania yesterday, Delaware County. I have no idea where that was, where they also disbanded a line of voters who were turning in ballots in person. Sorry, can't take them. So far in the state of Pennsylvania, 1.4 million mail-in ballots have been received. 850,000 from registered Democrats, less than 500,000 from Republicans, 156,000 from unaffiliated. I'm not optimistic about Pennsylvania, which, by the way, I got to correct a mistake I made at the end of the last segment. I was trying to, off the top of my head, recite the 5th state where a Democratic governor rules, and I mentioned Tony Evers in Wisconsin, Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan, Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania. Let me see where else. I know the one that I messed up. I said Nevada. I meant North Carolina. That's where Roy Cooper is the governor. Roy Cooper is the governor. Katie Hobbs in Arizona is the 5th one. So 5 of the 7 swing states have Democratic governors. And if you have Democratic governors, you're going to have the nonsense that you have going on in Pennsylvania. Trump said at a rally on Tuesday, there's some bad spots in Pennsylvania where some serious things have been caught or are in the process of being caught. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Okay, I want to go back to the Biden garbage comment for a second, because I told you at the outset of the show that Joe Biden didn't misspeak. It was not a senior moment. It was not saying the quiet part out loud. It was saying the loud part out loud. Something he said very loudly before. Morehouse College, Independence Hall, virtually every time he opens his mouth, virtually every time Kamala Harris opens her mouth. They demean you because you like Donald Trump. Yet, out of the other side of their mouth, they continue to say, oh, I'll be a president for all Americans. I'll be the great unifier. Yeah, sure you will. Here's Tim Walz yesterday, the vice presidential nominee of the Democratic Party, who labeled people who went to Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden Nazis. Pressed by a local television reporter, Tim Walz given the chance to back away from that statement. Did he do so?
You said over the weekend, referring to it, there's a direct parallel to a big rally that happened in the mid-1930s at Madison Square Garden.
Well,
You were comparing that rally to a Nazi rally?
look, I'm comparing it to the hate that came out of this, and I think they confirmed that.
You stand by that comparison, though, to a Nazi rally?
Look, the rally, you saw it for yourself. I'll let the American public make the decision of what they saw.
What about you, though?
So I know what I saw, and I'll just leave it at that.
Spineless, gutless coward. You're all Nazis. Do you really mean they're all Nazis? I'll just leave that to the American people. Okay, now I played for you earlier. I want to play for it. I want to play this for you again because there's a reaction cut from it, cut regarding it from Scott Jennings on CNN. The guy who you will hear speaking after Abby Phillips, the CNN anchor who runs these roundtable discussions, is a guy named Franklin Leonard. He is the founder and CEO of the Blacklist, which I looked it up online. It's like an initiative to further black filmmaking. Okay, so only black filmmaking, because of course white people would have nothing that they could ever express in film that would be any good. Like, you know, Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg. Like, you don't want to hear from these guys. Like, he just wants the black filmmakers. Okay, so Franklin Leonard, Tom Hanks, Ronnie Howard, nothing to add to the whole cinematography thing. Franklin Leonard, he's got the black filmmakers locked down, baby. He also has his excuse making for Joe Biden locked down. Listen to the lengths Franklin Leonard goes to defend Joe Biden, and then you'll hear from Scott Jennings.
By supporters, not simply the supporters themselves. But Joe Biden has been on the campaign trail. He's best getting ice cream in Maryland.
He's best getting ice cream in Maryland. That's the commander-in-chief, best getting ice cream in Maryland. Scott Jennings reacting to that statement.
They would be fine if Joe Biden wasn't anywhere near a microphone between now and next Tuesday.
Let me just accept the most charitable framing of this, which you just gave. Why is he sitting in front of a laptop at the exact same moment Kamala Harris is out on his backyard trying to give the closing argument to her campaign? What in the world is he doing? Now, I don't accept your framing of it personally, because I actually do believe he, Harris, the Democratic Party, and most of their campaign do believe that half the country is garbage. They've also said people who go to Trump rallies are Nazis. And so it's pretty apparent the disdain with which they hold half of the country in.
It's not true.
Oh, full-blown freak out on CNN. Pretty clear, Scott Jennings says, and he's absolutely right. The disdain in which they hold the American people. Oh, Scott, you can't say that. You can't say that on here. I guess it's CNN. And they do have an anti-truth policy there. I mean, Jake Tapper observes the anti-truth policy. Dana Bash observes the anti-truth policy. Certainly Caitlin Collins does. Certainly Abby Phillips does. Bakari Sellers, every single one of their commentators except Scott Jennings. I don't know how he still has a job telling the truth at CNN.
Feel like you're trying to push a boulder uphill wearing skates? If you run or manage a local business today, you're challenged like never before. We get it, and we want to help. We're Salem Surround. We're a full-service marketing agency that'll help you increase your customer base by designing incredibly effective plans to reach your consumers day, night, and everywhere they might be.
If you're a local business and want to see what Salem Surround can do for you, Google Salem Surround Columbus. Remember to Google Salem Surround Columbus today.
Hi, this is Ralph Drollinger, the founder and president of Capital Ministries. I have the privilege of leading the Senate.
All right, 53 minutes in the book. Time to adjourn hour number one, Bruce Hooley Show. If you want to watch hour number two, go to the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page or the 989 The Answer Facebook page. Nice audience today. Great to have you guys along, and I hope you have a great day. I genuinely mean that. I hope you have a great day. I hope you draw close to God. I hope he draws you closer to him. And if you're concerned about the future of our country, number one thing you should do is pray. Pray for the future of our country. But God is in control. It's important for me to remember that. It's important for you to remember that. So keep that in mind first and foremost. All right. With that, see you tomorrow.